CCPA in general, California Consumer Privacy Act, okay, and the LDU. So the first and foremost part that you have to understand what Facebook's going through right now is all data providers. It doesn't matter if it's Facebook, it's Google, it's Twitter, Snapchat, Oracle. Everybody's going to be underneath this law, especially in the fact of California. Now, my prediction is as states become broker and broker, especially with what's happening right now with COVID, you're going to see more states enact data privacy. If you didn't see yesterday, there was a huge Congress hearing with the big four, right? Amazon and Facebook and Google and Apple meeting in front and testifying in front of a huge, undertaking that's going on right now. But what this applies to first and foremost is people that meet these three rules. And it's really aimed at the data brokers, guys. It's aimed at people that are selling data. So Facebook and, Amazon, all these types of folks. But if you are making more than $25 million in annual gross revenue in the state of California, you need to comply with this, right? And so ultimately, this is going to fall into a lot of car dealers, especially franchise dealers. They're going to fall into this, okay? If you annually buy or receive commercial purposes, and this is where the gray area is. Many people are saying even if you're sharing data with Facebook as your website data, your custom audience data, you are selling data to Facebook, even though they're not paying you for it. You're using it for commercial purposes. So we have to watch on how we fall into this. Again, it's very gray, but want to make sure you guys are aware of this. And you derive 50% or more of your annual revenue from California, selling California personal information. I don't think anybody, especially in the deal world, they're not over there selling it. Now, people in the auto world, let's say your Jiffy Lubes, your Hertz rental cars, they make a lot of money selling consumer data, right? A big revenue stream comes from those companies by selling consumer data. So they're under here. But just so you understand, in June 2018, this law was passed. January 2019, things started going into effect. January 2020 is when we started seeing, and we actually saw before Facebook notified us that we saw fall off in certain areas in our analytics and started asking questions. And then in July 2020, the Attorney General has the ability now to start enforcing this, right? And so what we want to do is make sure people are protected, and you'll see what the steps we're going to take here. LDU, okay, the second part of this is LDU. This is going to be Facebook's response to how they're going to handle the CCPA compliance, right? And that's LDU, limited data usage. And what this allows them to do is control the amount of data that you're sharing, or your businesses that you're advertising on behalf of. Limits the amount of data shared with Facebook. You either you can not share data with them, or you can share data with them, right? Facebook still has the ability to take all the actions that are happening on Facebook, likes, comments, shares, interaction with carousels, what you're doing in marketplace, what you're doing in shops, what you're doing organically on pages, to use that to the benefit of their platform. But according to this, they don't have the right to use data off of Facebook. So when someone travels off of Facebook and goes to a dealer's website, or they go to inside of a dealer's store and gives consumer information, Facebook doesn't have the right to automatically just use that. You have to now opt in to be able to share that data. So it's going to affect Facebook pixel usage and offline activities such as offline events, okay? Now, what we're doing personally, we're complying in different areas. First, we're updating our privacy policy. I recommend everybody, consult your legal counsel or go online. I put a link on the bottom here to Shopify. Shopify actually has a privacy policy builder, and they do a pretty good job. It's more geared towards those that are selling on Shopify, but they have this white paper that I linked down here that really explains the differences between CCPA, GDPR. It was very confusing. I spent the past few months trying to get up to speed on what this is, because we have to build code for this as well. And you're going to see here in a second, you're going to have to comply through our platform with this as well, and in the state of California. But I do anticipate this to go to other states as well. So just stay on top of this. So all California accounts, if you're an advertiser right now representing anybody in California, on 7/1, Facebook turned off your ability to retarget anybody on your website right now. So your pixels would have dropped out, all of this stuff. They're basically taking the overage because the AG is involved at this point right now. They're going, hey, I'm not doing any sharing with outside of my control until someone reshares their data with us. Well, unfortunately, they didn't make any of these tools available until a few weeks ago, right? So they basically, their response was just, we're not going to accept data until we figure this stuff out. Now we're letting the platforms and the other companies know that there's tools that they can start using to re-enable those data signals back to us. So on 7/1, that happened. Now, we went through on our reseller channel. If you are a reseller that has a large amount of resellers in California, you probably are aware of this already. You should be talking to your partner manager around this. That many of you aren't affected by that. We have people in all different parts, and you only have maybe a couple of accounts in California. In general, it's not we don't have a single reseller that specializes only in California. So this is just coming. The second part of here is we're adding new LDU features, these limited data usage features. So you're now going to have the ability in onboarding to and opt into share data with Facebook, right? You're also going to have to re-opt back in if an account currently was sharing data, which was previous to 7/1 in the state of California. You're going to have to go to a little screen next week and click I want to reshare as you go into August here, and that will allow our pixel to start sending activity back to Facebook, and it'll allow you in the new offline event uploader we're building for you to send those signals back to California as well. So we're going to make better improvements to the tools. All of this stuff in Tag Manager has already been updated and is starting to comply with all of this. So behind the scenes, we got your back. This is a lot of the big stuff of why you guys work with companies like BuyerBridge right now, because we're taking the effort to go in, understand it, work with Facebook's development team, get all of our systems in compliance, and make sure that you are good to go on your side. Okay, so you're going to see some new things coming out next week, some new help articles, and if you have accounts in there, you'll probably hear from your account manager to go through and get those opted back in so you can regain your retargeting experiences. Okay. So any questions along the way, again, go ahead in the chat. I know this isn't the most fun way to start a partner meetup, but it's important because it has to do with the ability for us as advertisers to reach consumers, right? And take advantage of the retargeting capabilities of Facebook. So your actions that you're going to need to do, you or your client, depending on how you want to do this, right? If you do it, you're taking responsibility. And if you have your client do it, they're going to take responsibility. We've actually created on the back end an agreement system now. So it logs who's accepting these terms and agreements, and it will log your IP, your username, all of that good stuff, time and date, and put it into a legal system on our side to make sure that we're staying in compliant with all of this stuff. But you or your client must opt in if you want to turn off the ability to limit the usage of data. So right now, limited data usage for California is on, meaning we cannot send them data. You'll have to basically opt in to turn that off so we can send the events back into them. Okay. We'll send you an alert on this, and then until you opt in, you will not be able to retarget offline Facebook activities in California only. So again, when we went through here, not a ton of accounts from our standpoint, but want to make you aware. So if you're targeting California now, if you're listening to this and you're not in California, what I'm about to tell you for the rest of this customer partner meetup is you should focus on California. There is a ton of vendors that are not going to be able to support what's coming right now, and we're already there. And the new feature of C2MP, which I'm about to talk about, is your secret weapon to go in and land a ton of accounts in California. So if you're not focused on California yet, my recommendation is you should be focused out there, because there's a ton of dealers in California. They need help, and a lot of them are freaking out without solutions right now, and all the big guys aren't able to get there. So this could be a good opportunity for you guys to use this to actually take this business challenge and turn it into an opportunity for your business.